Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. Big thanks for Mr. Bill Herzog for coming in this morning and sharing some of his insight. And we may have you back in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Talking a little bit of trout stuff, but we'll get to that later. Growing up, I was lucky enough where my dad was crazy enough to take us out to the Deschutes River a lot when I was growing up. I learned how to fish a spinner and a steely first. We were drift fishing the sandy, corkies and yarn and gooey bobs with bouncing betties when I was growing up. But when we started fishing the Deschutes and we got exposed to spinners, it was one of those things that was like a light bulb. Because I learned quickly, especially on the Deschutes, okay? It's a very different river than the majority of rivers that are around. Very volcanic, very different bottoms, different runs. I mean, it's just a very different river. But when I learned how to break a river down, where I could make a cast, get the drift, or grind it through, or let it swing, tick, 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 all these little things. But it ain't easy. No. It's one of those things that if you haven't done it before, it can be intimidating, especially if you lose a few. So those folks, just like myself, that are watching, if you decided to throw some metal at them, spinners, these days, right now in March, size 5 is what we have here. You like the weight of those, the size of them.
I like the thump.
How do you like to fish them? There's a lot of different perspectives. Should it be a bait cast? Should it be a spinning rod? Should it be both? I mean, braided line, mono, what do you like in your setup?
Well, let's just start. Use a rod's like an 8 to 17, 9 foot, 9.5, 10 foot. Something that'll work for both, okay?
Sure.
You're still talking big fish.
Sure.
You don't want to go to a 4 to 8, a side drifting rod or something like that, and then get something really big you can't control.
Can't do anything with.
And it's going to happen when you throw metal. Big ones are going to come. So you want something that you, but with a spinners, I like a spinning rod.
Okay.
Because that's a parachute. When that thing goes out, it's a parachute. And it's not the same weight as a spoon. It's usually lighter, same size, same everything. You're going to get the same everything, but it's a parachute. Sure. So a spinning reel is going to work way better for you. Okay. For casting, I'll go to spinning. I'll still use 30-pound braid, a visible braid that I can see exactly where it is in the water. I'll still use 10 feet of 15-pound test ultra green down to it and stick with that. That works for both level wind and spinning. They both work great.
So you got that 10 foot of a bumper to keep that braid away from them.
Yeah, you got that, and it sinks also. And if you do happen to break off, you can break off easily, just your bumper, no braid in the water.
Right.
Nice, and you can feel with braid. This braid's like high def.
Oh, totally.
It's just
that was a game changer back
absolutely.
When it first
cannot go back. I can't go back. But when you're talking spoons and spinners, they are completely different. There's nothing, only the colors is all that is the same on these. The flash and whatnot, that's where it ends. You fish a spinner completely different, where a spoon you'll go across and you swing it, basically, swing it. Or letting the concept stream and letting it sink a little bit at times, but normally straight across and below you is a spoon. A spinner is fished above you, unless you're in dead water. Okay, this creates so much lift. When that thing goes, when that blade spins, so much lift. If you pull it again, you see it when a spinner gets below it, it just pulls like hell. That spinner blade really starts to move like a water skier. All of a sudden, up it comes. No good. You want that thing to fish at current speed or slightly slower than current speed, so you always fish it above your position and bring it back to you. Always. That way, you want that blade spinning. You don't want this blade really honking either. You want it whoop, 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 whoop. Your mind's eye, right about a foot off the deck, okay, when you bring it back. And just reel till you feel. As in, watch your rod tail. When you get that thump, good to go. If the thump stops, reel a little faster, or if it really starts honking, slow down.
Right.
It's all visual, as much as it is feel.
Sure.
But you want, because that blade, the faster it spins, the less flash it makes too. Like these lights above us right here, fluorescent lights, they're flashing like crazy. You don't know it because it's super fast.
Sure.
Okay. A slower thump goes pop, pop, pop. And in colder water, water's still cold this time of year, you want it to go slow. So you fish it above your position and bring it back to you. The strike wonderfully is the same. It's Stevie Wonder time.
Ferocious.
Kaboom. But you fish a spinner upstream, a spoon down.
Gotcha.
That's the difference.
So the spoon, you're making your straight across, kind of letting that thing swing. Lots of different things that we do to swing spoon, especially with the spinner. You're running that upriver on your cast, and you're reeling to continue to bring it down with that blade thumping the whole time.
And for that reason, I love a spinner that's no more than a 1/4 ounce. It seems weird, a 1/4 ounce. And how many spoons you have here are all 1/2 ounce and 2/3 and 1 ounce are heavy because you're pushing against the current. Because I want them to float when they come down. So when you bring them, you're negating the push of the current when it comes down to you. So you want them lighter. So that's why the spinning gear works so much better. So you can cast them further, everything. A spinner is not a spoon.
Right. Similar to some degree, but very different when you're fishing them.
Right. As far as choosing colors and finishes, the same. Match the water and what you're doing. But as far as technique, totally different.
All right, so if you were going to try to take his advice, spinning rod, that 9 foot to 10 foot, maybe even 10-6, depending on whatever rod it is and how good you are at casting. 8 to 17, not a free drift. And what another good point to put with that, to get a good bite with a spinner or a spoon with a noodle of a rod, it's very difficult. There's a lot of line out sometimes depending on how you're fishing it. You need to be able to move it quickly, and that 8 to 17 can do that. It'll actually move the line to get the hook where it's supposed to be. Braided line, just another big deal. 30 pound, 40 pound, depending on the manufacturer. Some of the diameters are a little bit different. But I think if we forgot your favorite tool.
Oh my goodness.
And this is something that I'm not even going to tell the story again, but I've mentioned it to Bill off air.
I just chastised him for it, so don't worry.
I'm telling you, dude, it really is kind of dumb. But right here, you've got your hook sharpener. One of the things with spoons and spinners, if you're fishing them right, you're going to rub a rock.
Sure.
And a lot of times you're going to roll a tip. And if you do, you got to have that.
It only takes one touch. And usually you go and you feel that, that was rock. Or something hit it. Immediately, I know how badly you want to throw it back out there because I'm as guilty of it as anybody. We all do the same. Oh, God, get it back out there. And then you're all excited. You throw it back out there and wham, you go, big hooks at you. Twist, twist, gone. Oh, wow.
What
that was a good bite. You reel in and feel the tip. You go like this and feel the tip, and you go, oh, no. It's rolled over because it hit that rock, and I didn't take 5 seconds to check it. And it cost me my only bite of the day. The worst part is you fish all winter long, and you late part of the season like this, and the big wild ones are out there. And then you get that tremendous grab, and he comes up, and you see him. And you hung up just before that, and you, oh my God, and
here it comes right back at you.
And then
like
you reel in, and you're right, and trophy fish is gone because you didn't take 5 seconds to check it, and then go just put a little edge back on there, about as long as I did right there. That landed me my trophy steelhead instead of going, oh man, you know, to everybody.
And it's really a thing. And there's a lot of people that might think, well, you know, if a hook isn't, absolutely needle point sharp, it's not that big of a deal. It really is, just because of the way that their mouths are. You need sometimes that just extra to get that little bit of skin, and then it could go. I mean, it's just a big deal, and it's something that we all overlook, myself included. I forgot it yesterday. Again, I'm not going to get into that story, but it's just one of those things that if you have that hook file handy, I have one in my jacket, I've got one in my bag, I've got one in my boat now, I've got one, there's one everywhere just because of that exact situation.
There's 4 in that one box right there.
I mean, it's just, it really is important. All the time and effort, don't just blow it because you're lazy.
Well, here's what happens often when the spoon is hanging below you, in clear water especially, they'll charge it, and all you'll feel is a tick. And he's got it. He's got it. And when you're coho fishing, you'll throw a spinner into a big slack edge, and drop you, boom, a slack bite. What the heck? That super sharp hook is going to hang in its mouth just for a nanosecond until you can reel down. Oh, there he is. Bang. Got him. Otherwise, he's going to drop it on a dull hook.
First things first, 3 segments on Out the GPS, hour-long show, most watched outdoor show in the history of our West Coast. Thank you very much. Prove me if you can wrong. It's impossible. We truly do appreciate you coming down and spending some time, man. It's not easy for you, and we look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks. But you're sticking with me until we're done. We got one more segment left to wrap things up. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with Bill Herzog. Don't go anywhere.